Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another installment of the Ambassadors Retro Reviews. And with me today, I've got my good friend and co-host Mir, the gravitationally adept. And today, we're jumping back to the '80s, to the age,
This
to the.
movie
To
is
the
special.
this movie is outstanding. And today, we are talking about the great little '80s gem, Three Amigos. And Mir, I'm glad to have you here, my friend. It's been a little
Dude,
bit.
how are you doing? And I also
I'm
love the
doing
new
well.
infographic, and you are sounding much better. I
Yeah,
might add.
for those of you who might have not noticed or I haven't been streaming or anything for a couple of days or anything. I actually upgraded and I got me a brand new mic. So yay!
So pretty.
It's 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 so crisp. It makes me want to perish. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, but
Completely.
but today we're talking about a great little '80s gem, The Three Amigos, starring three kings of comedy.
Three outright legends.
Legends. Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. And you say in that order so you don't screw up the names.
That is true.
Because otherwise you're gonna completely screw the pooch on the names, particularly when you're talking about Martin, Steve Martin, and Martin Short.
Yep.
And the thing you have
I
to
mean,
remember is Martin Short is short, but Steve Martin is tall. But they're all funny. And
Martin
two,
Short is short, but Steve Martin is Steve. That's how
yes, Steve is, and Chevy Chase. Well, he's Chevy.
That's
And
Chevy
to
Chase.
and to the chat, my good friend Sir Nerdlot, good to see you, bud, and glad you're here as always. And to everybody that's either watching on YouTube or on Facebook, thank you for tuning in today, and make sure you smash that like button. Share this out with all your friends that are lovers of great comedic films, fans of the '80s, and everything that's just wonderful about that decade. So, but yeah, I know I had to postpone this one because something came up. Steve Martin Short.
That's it.
Yes.
It's three
Steve,
names, but two people.
yes. Steve. Well, fun little fact about my family: all the male members of my family, both on my maternal and paternal sides of the family, within 3 generations of one another, all had the same first name. But I'll tell you what, whenever I hit 400 subscribers, I will reveal my first name, my real first name. So, because except for maybe I think like 1 or 2 people, no one knows my real first name. So if you want to learn my first name, give me the 400 subscribers. Or give me the 375 and I'll do it then.
All right, I'm going to put in a guess. Your first name is Alfonso.
Do I look like an Alfonso to you?
It's a definite maybe.
Not even close. Not even close.
I know. We were just talking about one of the people actors that starred in this movie, so that was the first name that came to mind.
Yeah, and honestly, this, aside from the 3 main leads, this had a really good cast and everything. You had some SNL alums, obviously, with Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, but you also had a cameo by Phil Hartman and John Lovitz. You had Joe Mantegna as the studio owner, and wow, he's very hot-headed.
Just only slightly.
Only slightly.
Yeah,
but you know, this movie I think is severely underrated. I mean, I do. I really think this movie is severely underrated because it is just a pure comedic gem. It really is, because you've got clever writing, you've got a cool time period, you got like the 1980s silent film movie stars, and of course you've got I think one of the most over the top yet funny as hell and still intimidating movie villains. El Guapo. I
Yeah,
am still here. I am still here, El Guapo. Bam.
that dude was. I mean, that he was a walking meme, even to this day. There are still memes that are just pure El Guapo. Like,
It's a
Jefe,
swear.
what is a plethora?
Well, El Guapo, I, Jefe, not having the
Uh,
sophistication and the education that
yeah.
you do, I don't know what a plethora is.
Oh,
But El
yeah.
Guapo, when you want the food, you take the
Take
food.
the food. When you
When you
want a
want
woman,
when you
Go ahead,
want the horse,
yeah.
when you want the horses, you take the
take
horses.
the
You
horse.
want the woman,
Woman, you
you
just
take the
take the
woman.
woman. When you want a plethora, well, you have a plethora. And you know what? I'm sorry, but it's extraordinarily sound logic in that day and age.
Yes.
Oh, lordy.
Oh, this is going to be a very interesting review stream today. I can
It
tell you that
is.
much.
And I mean, despite the fact that this is kind of like a pure comedic Western, I love the setting.
Same.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
the silent movie era. I mean, even back then, what does anybody know about the silent movie era, like in recent memory?
Not much.
I mean, except for what people saw in was that movie Chaplin with Johnny Depp, and that was like how many years ago?
Long time ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Very long time ago. Yeah.
that era, they hadn't invented sound in a movie yet. I mean, the whole movie era had only started 25 years prior on a bet, I might add.
Pretty much.
Okay, let's do some history, right? For those who don't know, there was a bet between two individuals that all four hooves of a horse touched the ground at the same time, and the person who came up with a way to test that theory ended up creating what is now known as the movie camera. Short, simple, and look at the industry that has come from there.
Yeah, and look at where the industry is now. I'm sorry, did I say that out kind of out loud? Well, okay, the movie industry has gotten a little bit better. Just depends on the studio. But again, that's another topic.
But even then, you had like wonderful genres. You had horror, you had westerns, you had dramas, you had fantasy stuff, and now you have wonderful things like porn and Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So yeah, no matter how long it takes, they're how the mighty have fallen. But people will do strange shit when there's money involved. Part of my French.
You had to mention porn. Why? Why did you have to mention porn?
Because I was looking at the dregs.
Okay, point taken.
I mean, and the only thing that was lower than that is Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which they're starting that up again, by the way. Thought you ought to know. Whew.
I could go the rest of my life without ever knowing that, but thanks.
Yeah, I've gone my entire life without ever watching it, so it's just fine.
Same here. I have better things to do with my time.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And so, again, one of these things that people didn't know about so much about the that era is that the actors that were in this movie or in the silent movie era were paid virtually nothing.
Very true. Yeah.
Now you have areas like for people are being paid multiple millions, in some cases even $100 million just to star in a movie. But back in those days, they might have been paid like a week's worth of a minimum wage salary.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, and the opening of this movie is like they're just bargaining for a better deal. And the guy's like,
yeah,
it'll be a cold day in hell before someone tells Harry Flugelman what to do.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've got Phil Hartman coming in. Send over wardrobe. Take the Amigos clothes. Where do you live? Oh, we live in one of the houses that the studio provides us. Lock the Amigos out of their studio, out of their home.
Jeez.
And they're just and everything they're quite literally kicked out onto the street in their civvies or their skivvies rather. And they've got those really stupid looking broad or those like paper thin hats and everything. And just a reminder, folks, there was a time when men wore garters to keep their socks up. Now, well, we have elastic bands. Thank heavens.
Technology, people.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
It's called elastic. It's called sewing elastic into the top of your socks.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they get a telegram, and of course, it's from Santapulco down in down Mexico way, as the man himself, Frank Sinatra said. And this poor little village is being victimized and brutalized by the vile, evil, despicable, horrid. Well, let's just call him El Guapo, and let's just call him infamous. You see, when you're so famous, you become infamous or infamous. And can you say the stereotype of the dumb Hollywood actor or actress?
And it's wow. I mean, people were, and here's the other thing too: is that back in the day, and that people were much smarter than you've realized. They were a lot smarter than your average Kardashian. Even the actors were. Minus the boobs, but you know what I mean. Look. Fair enough. Go on.
Mir, I've missed working with you, man. I mean it. I have. I've missed working with you.
I've been incredibly busy over the last few.
I know.
I'm off till March. I am off till March. We're actually almost April.
Yeah.
Oh, life is good right now.
Yes. And of course, they're like, go ahead.
Yeah, so the telegram comes in. They say the infamous part. And they're underlooked actors. Again, this is also before the Screen Actors Guild, where the people had, where the actors had collective bargaining rights. And so they were the equivalent of independent contractors. They, if a studio didn't like you and they fired you, you were out on your butt, and they could essentially blacklist you and make sure that you were never working in that industry again if you treated a director bad. I mean, it's sort of similar today, but not. Again, there are at least bargaining rights that come about.
Very true. Well, and the crazy thing about this movie is like a snapshot of the 1920s movie scene, and at the same time, it's a snapshot into the comedy scene of the 1980s. Yes. And they could do movies like this that were so irreverently funny, and they did not care who they offended. Because I guarantee you, if they did that movie now, people would be up in arms. Oh, dare you stereotype people of the Latino or Mexican demographic?
Well, I think in the 70s, especially, after the civil rights movement, was in the first few years after that, there were a slew of movies that were so outright profane and went out of their way to not to insult people, but it would be an insult if you did not insult everybody.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, I know some people will say that this one pales in comparison to Blazing Saddles, but you could almost put this one next to Blazing Saddles just because of the sheer comedic factor of the movie.
Definitely on a lower tier. I mean, let's just face it. I'm sorry, but Blazing Saddles went completely out of their way. That's another movie that we will probably never, ever get retro review, if you will.
Oh, yes, we will. Oh
Ooh.
yes, we may even do watch party for it at some point because I have Twitch now. I have a Twitch account,
Sign me
and
up. I'm good.
you can watch just you. That's the great thing about Twitch and everything. You can watch anything with the sound going, and they will not take it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to be using Twitch and everything going forward and everything because I'm still going to reach out to my friend LDG and everything on occasion and everything, have him help me out. But he's got his own thing he's doing right now, and I want to give him a little bit of a break because I ran him ragged towards the tail end of last year.
Yeah.
With all the, and I felt kind of bad, but I appreciate everything that he does and everything that he's doing now, and
He does
much
quality
respect.
work. You have to give him that.
Yes, he does. He very much does. He's got a brand new thing going on and everything. Geeks Love Neurotica. Love the name of his channel. Love it to death.
So back to the movie here. So
yes, back to the movie.
I think this is the part where people show up in the guy shows up in at the cantina.
Oh, the Germans. Yes.
Well, not. If I thought was it one guy first?
Yes, it was one guy.
Yeah, and
then
tells them that the friends are coming.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his two friends that are coming, and then and of course, and then, again, back in this day, this is still technically the very, very end of the Wild West. A lot of lawlessness going on. Things are being ruled by the gun rather than law. And if someone says, yeah, it would be very good if you do not insult these people in any way, shape, or form, please fear what they're going to do to you. And yeah, you've been warned.
Then the three amigos show up.
Well, come on. You have to go back a little bit further and talk about breaking into the studio to get their
we need to talk. We definitely need to, look up here. Look up here. Look up here. You do. Whip-a-wheel. Hey, you guys.
At this moment, when this part showed up, this is only 15, 20 minutes into the movie.
Roughly.
And it cements itself right here as the most awesome dumb movie in existence.
Yes,
or at least of the 1980s.
I think that's a good categorization of this movie. Is a stupid good movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's just be candid. They could not write a stupid dumb movie nowadays and actually still be enjoyable. This one is so dumb and so stupid, but yet it is so completely out of bounds with with how stupid it truly is.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got three. I mean, this is almost like a fish out of water story. This is almost like a proto Galaxy Quest movie, if you think about it. We're not gunfighters or actors.
You have a serious situation. They're breaking into some place to go get their their rather extravagant costumes back. But in order to do that, you have to, they need to sneak over the wall, go to the costume department, get their stuff, and head out. But then, yeah, you have one guy who does something, who's like trying to raise these people attention, but you have two people who are also called Ned Nederlander and Dusty Bottoms.
Little Ned Nederlander.
Yeah. Little Neddy.
Little Neddy goes to war.
And then and they're just absolutely clueless about their surroundings.
Oh my gosh. They are I bet they're like the ancestor of the girl from the movie Clueless with Alicia Silverstone. Like somehow or another, these two movies are connected. Like either Nettie or Dusty had a child, and then that child had a child, and that child had a child, and then eventually ended up with Alicia Silverstone's character in Clueless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Or even Brittany Murphy.
I mean, just forget it. Like, apparently, Chevy Chase and Martin Short ended up starring in the movie. What was that one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he goes in and actually gets pregnant? Junior is the name.
Oh, Junior, yes.
So they pulled one of those, which kind of all falls into place because Twins was like heading on towards this point.
Oh, I love Twins. I gotta do a review of Twins. Movie. Oh man,
that is another fantastic movie.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, you have Martin Short, who is clueless in his own right in this movie, and then you have Chevy Chase's character, Dusty Bottoms, who is even more clueless than that. And so
he's the ladies' man.
What I honestly think happened here is that you say, what is the dumbest possible thing that you would do to try to get somebody's attention? And then how do we make it dumber? So instead of having one person staying there that's completely clueless, you have two. And they're just looking around, they're waiting on the wall. I don't know what's going on. Hey, you guys! And then they look up.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We're just squatting here like a pair of untrained
what bird sounds like that? What bird in the history of ornithology sounds like that?
I have no idea, but maybe it was something prehistoric and everything that went, hey, you guys, look out, the T-Rex is coming!
Pretty much. It's just, oh! It just, after maybe about 60 seconds of this, it started hurting my head, and they kept this up for another 2 minutes after that. And
yeah.
In that stupidity is pure brilliance.
Yes.
It's taking a joke way too far, and somehow that is funny as hell.
Yes, and it's anytime this is on my short list of I need something that, because I've had such a suck ass day. Yeah. I need something that's going to make me laugh, that's going to make me feel better. And I'm like, at least I'm not as dumb as these guys. I mean it.
Very true.
And to the chat, speak of the devil, sort of. Geeks enjoys Nerdrotica. LDG, good to see you, bud. Thank you for popping by. And I gave you a shout out, man, because you're good people, and I've enjoyed our collaborations in the past, and good to see you, truly. So, but yeah, honestly, go ahead, Mir.
Also, an interesting fact here: the three Amigos is actually, I'm looking at this. Nope, I take it back. This is only the second movie for Martin Short.
Mm-hmm.
He did a TV movie. I'm not counting that.
Okay.
But his first movie was called Lost and Found in 1979. Everything else he did after that was either a TV movie, or he did like specials on The Love Boat or SCTV, or again TV series, et cetera, et cetera. And then Chevy Chase, he just came off of Spies Like Us.
Yeah. How have I not reviewed that movie? Oh my gosh.
That one, and his 85. This is 1985, mind you. He did Spies Like Us, National Lampoon's European Vacation, and Fletch.
There's another. I forgot about.
Absolutely fantastic movie.
Yes.
And Steve Martin on that end, he was doing a bit of TV series, but his last movie was in '84. Was The Jerk 2.
They did a sequel to The Jerk?
I didn't even know there was one, man. Swear to God.
Swear to me.
Yeah, that too. Said, I'm not God, just close.
No, I'm just Batman.
So there you go. Close enough.
Wow, I was not aware that they did a sequel to The Jerk.
Me neither. I'm trying to find. Yeah, Jerk was 79. This one was 84.
Wow. Just wow. And okay, getting back into Three Amigos. I will say their singing was not terrible.
No.
I was actually very impressed with how well those three, the Chevy and Steve and Steve and everything. Chevy and the Two Steves. There's a title for a movie.
That is very true.
Robin and the Seven Hoods, Chevy and the Two Steves.
I feel like there's something like, to me. This is like kind of. I don't think this. Sorry, I'm looking for.
Well, while you're looking, I'll keep the conversation going.
Yes, by all means.
I was actually really impressed with the singing and the choreography of that scene there in the cantina, because technically it's a cantina, it's not a bar. So, and it's south of the border, so it'd be called a cantina, not a bar. He's like, we don't serve beer here, just tequila. He's like, is it fattening? Fattenings?
I know.
Are you kidding? You'd be lucky to get a clean glass.
And that's why they serve tequila. That's the exact reason why they serve tequila. That's why, like Europe and all these other areas, sterilization, or at least clean, was not exactly a concept here.
You were too busy getting snockered off your butt off a strong tequila.
Well, you had to at least have a certain percentage of alcohol in your drink. Otherwise, you could end up getting some kind of bacterial infection.
Montezuma's Revenge.
Or dysentery, you know?
What's amoebic dysentery? If you can figure out what movie that's a quote from.
Doubtfire, man. Euphigenia Doubtfire.
I did a review of that movie back, I think, 2 years ago.
It's a great movie. Still.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But yeah, my little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
All right. So yeah, I made mention of this just before this whole thing started. But when now
go
you're
ahead.
talking 20. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I'm dating myself. About 34 years ago, I was getting up into like the middle school area, and my art teacher was this really young hottie. Every kid with that had just had an inkling of such was trying to ask her out on a date. She was like easily like 22 or something like that. So three of my friends walk in, and we're always singing to her My Little Buttercup. I'm actually surprised that she did not put us before a firing squad and shot during that era. Because, I mean, if my voice sounds annoying, my singing voice is so much worse.
Well, just depending on if it was pre or post puberty and your voice breaking.
A combination of both, actually. It happened a little bit beforehand. It definitely happened after. And look, I don't think there's any possibility that she's going to be watching this kind of a stream, but it is the year 2021. If she is actually listening to this stream, I am so sorry for what we put you through all those years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And so yeah, that song in particular, getting all those people, and when the Three Amigos first walk into that place, I mean, come on, basically dressed up like mariachis. They look like sissies and everything, and these people are in absolute abject terror.
Yeah.
They are scared.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it is just so epic how people start joining in on the song because they believe that their lives depend on it.
Yep, indeed.
And the Nicotina Show says, "What's up, Ambassador?"
Hey, Nicotina. Hey, Andre. How you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a well. I've seen you in other chats and everything, but this is it's been a while since you've been in my chat. We're just talking about Three Amigos, because it's awesome and we love it, and I love this
Because
movie.
Amigos forever will be.
Yes. Well, you've got three musical numbers. You've got the opening number at the beginning where you've got you've got Chevy and the two Steves doing the Three Amigos main theme. Then you've got My Little Buttercup, and then you've got the one that they sing to put Nettie to sleep.
Oh yeah, the lullaby.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can.
Oh,
and it did the original theme at the very end.
Yeah.
Stinkies, I can't remember the name of it now.
Holy shnikes.
That's going a little farther ahead in it, but still, the turtle at the very end.
Yes.
Just, good night, Ned.
Good night. Yeah, Nick, and I'll bring up Nicotina's comment here. And we kind of sadly disconnect. No,
we had just hit on this.
Hollywood would never take a risk on a movie they think would bomb. And that's sad. And you know what? I kind of want to. That's one of the reasons why I do reviews of these movies from the 80s, because Hollywood still took chances in the 1980s. And I don't want to get off on a big rant or anything. I'll just say this real quick and then we'll get back. And just real quick to the chat also before I do go into my little tear. Andrew Casale. Andrew, good to see you, man. Nicest and glad you're here. And Andrew, I'll be in touch with you on Twitter and everything about next week's Batman review stream. So keep your eyes open on your DMs on Twitter, man. So, but yeah, in the 1980s, Hollywood still took chances. Hollywood was still willing to take a risk on movies that may not necessarily do well at the start. And Three Amigos is kind of a example of that, because yeah, it did. I don't know how this movie performed at the box office in 1980, whatever when this movie came
86.
out. 86. Okay.
I will tell you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Production. Critical response.
I don't think I want to know.
So, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 5.16 out of 10, and 45% of 40 critics gave it, or 45% of 40 film critics gave it a positive review.
Okay. That's not horrible.
And
yeah, and go ahead,
it is number 79 on Bravo's list of the 100 funniest movies.
Okay, that's not horrible.
Yeah,
that is not horrible. But as I was starting to say, in the 1980s, Hollywood and the studios were still willing to take risks. And this movie was a risk because you had two alums from Saturday Night Live plus another guy from another comedy group and everything working together. Yeah, and Andrew, I was watching Enosh's stream last night, and I actually put a comment on there about that, but that's another topic for another time. And here we are, 20 or 30 some odd years removed from 1986, and we're talking about this movie. Why? Because it is funny. Because after all these years, we still come back to it, and we still we watch it, we review it, we discuss it, because it was funny, it was clever, it had some cool ideas, it had some good writing, it had good acting, at least I thought it was. And it had great comedic timing because you had good comedians working in it. That's the cool thing about movies from the 1980s, because it was a risk. You didn't know if something was going to hit. And sometimes they hit, sometimes it missed. But after the fact, people look back on it and say, you know what? This movie wasn't entirely bad. I'll still watch it. I mean, I'll watch this movie. Like I said, if I've had a really crappy day at work or whatever, I'll come home, I'll pop it in the player or whatever, and I'll watch it. And it makes me feel better. And that's what's great about these old movies and everything, whether it's something from like black and white in the 1930s or 40s or 50s or whatever, or going into the 1980s and 90s with color and whatever.
Yep.
It makes you feel better. It takes your mind off things. And that's what good cinema should do. It doesn't always have to be deep and insightful. It can be goofy and silly and dumb. And quite frankly, that is what Three Amigos is. It's goofy, it's silly, and it's dumb.
In spades. Absolutely.
Absolutely in spades. And you've got this over-the-top, like I mentioned, villain in El Guapo. And I'm sorry, even the name itself, I don't know what El Guapo means, but I'm sure it's something.
Handsome. He is
the handsome?
Yep.
Okay, that guy, and no offense to the actor who actually played El Guapo, but they did not make him look handsome.
They made him look Alfonso. That's what I think your name, by the way. You know that.
Nope, that is not my real first name.
It is now, Alfonso.
Don't make me mute you.
I'm just gonna mess.
I know, man. You're good. But okay, and they're on their quest to find El Guapo's fortress. I know we're kind of jumping. Well, let's go to the village when they first get to the village of Santapolco, and they meet the townspeople, and some of the more lovely senoritas come out to meet the fellas, and well, the main one, Maria, I think, Carmen. Yeah, Carmen. She kind of takes a liking to Lucky Day, Steve Martin's character.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, and some of the other, and Nettie and everything connects more with the little kids in the town and everything, but some of the girls and everything are like, "Ooh, he's a cutie." And then of course one of the kids comes up, "After you're dead, can I have your gun or your boots or whatever it is?" And they're like, What? What? What are you gonna?
And even then, they don't realize that this is actually like a real thing that they're worried about.
Pretty much.
They're still thinking it's a show.
Yeah. It's all a show, and it isn't. Yeah, and I don't want to jump ahead way too much. But then, of course, you have the three bandits come in, and you've got El Guapo's lieutenant Jefe.
Yep.
You gotta love Jefe. You do. You've got to love Jefe.
He was, you know what? This is he was a guy that, you know, he played the role so well.
Yes.
You know, this is one of the few people in the movie who were absolutely serious the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, like El Guapo was, you know, he laughed here and there, and then he got very serious, which is, you know, example of a psychotic personality.
Mm-hmm.
And so here you have this serious situation that's being brought on by Jefe and El Guapo and the banditos and the Germans. Germans are important.
Yes, they are.
Which we totally missed that part too.
Well, we can bounce back to it because honestly, we're not going in like linear chronological, or we'll hit upon whatever part we wanted to hit upon because it's my stream and I'll do what I want.
Okay. If you insist, man.
Can you do whatever?
This whole thing, there is a different kind of ridiculousness when you start getting into the area of like the El Guapo, Jefe, and the banditos. They're all. It's very different. There's a more serious tone there, but there is still one of those moments where, like, you know, El Guapo just is messing with his entire crew, and you don't and the thing is, you don't know what's too far. If you go too far with El Guapo, he shoots you dead. and you don't know where that
Mhm.
point is. So while everyone is allied, everyone who is allied with El Guapo is also in extreme fear because you never know when he's going to snap. It doesn't say that there's going to be a moment of like levity that comes between, like the plethora scene, for example. But yeah, it's just one of those moments where even while the while the town is, yes, dealing with fear and hope when the three amigos arrive, the banditos are in more fear of El Guapo. Sure,
Oh
they're in a
yeah.
position of power, but they take one step out of line, they take one joke too far, they're gone, and they'll never
Yep.
see it coming. So it's one of those situations where, like, you see Jefe and being, everyone's being bad to the townspeople, but then El Guapo is bad to them too, like a very, like an abusive parent.
Mhm.
All right, that's all I got here.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I was laughing. You said that because even the banditos and everything are in fear of El Guapo, and they're like, we can take you. Like, and I'm thinking, El Guapo is a comedic version of Darth Vader from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh!
Except
Could you imagine? Okay,
he smiles.
go ahead.
He smiles. That's the only difference. Oh, but you got to put that message up from us.
Nerdlot, don't make me ban you.
Oh, come on, you got to put it there. Yes, Alfonso.
My name is not Alfonso.
No,
It's also actually my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I ain't kill anybody. You barking up that wrong tree, man. I've been on the Enterprise this whole time since '83.
Okay, somebody needs to do a redub of either from Empire or Return of the Jedi or Hope, and replace Darth Vader's voice with El Guapo. They've done it for Schwarzenegger, and they've done it for Samuel L. Jackson, and they've done it for Arlie from Full Metal Jacket, Sergeant Hartman. Someone do El Guapo's voice, Darth Vader. I would die laughing. Okay, I would die laughing.
Especially at the very beginning. You'd be like, Jefe, what is a plethora? So right after, it would make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
This is a plethora of corpses.
And at the very end, they're like, well, one of these, what was it? An escape pod was launched during the mission, but there were no life forms aboard. Only kill one of them. Yes, my lord. Just die laughing.
Oh my gosh. We're never going to get through this movie.
No. Okay, so this point, let's just jump in just a little bit, and we get to the point where, again, pardon my French, but where shit gets real.
Yes.
It is that part. Like, oh, I like these guys. Guapo shows up. They're doing their normal thing. Just kill one of them. And they
wound. Let me see that gun.
Yeah. Those are real bullets.
These are real bullets. Someone could get killed.
And then he looks at their face, it's like, oh. That dawning of what is actually going on. That what they're doing is, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and of course, still, the two clueless ones that are still on the horses have no idea that this is real. This is why you have Steve Martin is the brains of the operation. You have Ned, who is the gun. He is the actual one with actual quick draw talent. And you have Chevy's character, who is the charismatic.
Bottoms.
Yeah.
Dusty Bottoms. Yeah, he's the ladies' man.
And
He
you
was the
have to
ladies' man
be,
before Tim Meadows.
and you have got to be the ladies' man with a name like Dusty Bottoms. Let's just face the facts here.
Well, let's be honest. If Dusty gets his way, there's a lot of bombs that get Dusty.
That's true. Absolutely true. So again, it's the realization that we're was it name? Lucky Day realizes that, oh shit, like this is actually real, and he goes back and he tells them
it's real. It's all real.
And they start crying.
They are crying. They start crying like a bunch of sissies. And speaking of, okay, and that's a good segue to the scene earlier
With
on and everything, where when the actual deadly Germans come into the cantina and they're like, "Look at the
sissies," and they all start laughing,
and then they all start dying.
They all start dropping.
Except for the bartender.
Yeah.
Except for the bartender. The bartender survives. He's like, "This is too strenuous. I've got to get another line of work."
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Man. Again, this movie is so great.
Yeah,
and so, not only at this point do these people go, the three amigos realize that it's real, but then the town is completely and utterly demoralized. And this is, oh my God, we just hired, they're not real.
Actors. They're actors.
And so they just, they offered all of this money to them. And then they realize they're just...
No, it's 100,000 pesos.
Yeah.
100,000 pesos? Santa Poco doesn't have 100,000 pesos. It's all right. They won't accept it. Their honor would not allow them. And then and then they realize, oh crap, they're actors.
Yes.
Okay, and I've watched this movie numerous times on TV, but there is a part when Carmen is at the El Guapo's fortress, and I think it's one of El Guapo's girlfriends or whatever comes in. It's one of his one of his members of his harem, I guess, for lack of a better term. And she's like, "Do you know what foreplay is?" No.
Oh,
and she's like, "Good.
Neither does
El Guapo. Neither does El Guapo."
God.
But yeah, the townspeople become completely demoralized. They realize that they have hired actors, not gunfighters,
to
protect their
morons.
Okay, not particularly bright actors.
Better, much better.
And not by much, but then they run off, go on this quest to get to Old Guapo's, and then they meet the singing swordsman and the invisible sword and the singing bush. And the singing bush is complete. Go ahead, Mir.
Okay, so the singing bush is basically the play on like the biblical bit of the burning bush.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a completely different form of energy, sound instead. And again, this is another one of the dumbest scenes I have ever seen in my life. But this one is just outright hilarious.
Yes.
You have this mission. Oh, let's also not forget about the thing with their canteens. Where the first one opens, where Lucky Day opens his canteen, only has a few things of water left. Then you have, which personally for me is the funniest part of all, is when, Martin Short opens up his and it's sand. It's like, it might be hot, it might be dry. And then you have Dusty, who opens a full canteen, just plenty of water. 2 people, absolutely like being dehydrated right next to him, and he's what, liter and a half gallon of or a liter and a half thing of nice, pure, lovely water. Just, and then he drops it, and all that water just pours out. I mean, personally, if I was in that position and some jackass next to me pulled that kind of crap, I would have shot him dead in the middle of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Now, heartbeat. You just dumped out all the water. Bang! You're dead.
Yeah.
You're done.
Absolutely. And I really would have moved very, very quickly to jump down and get that canteen.
Yes. I would have been like 4-speed Qui-Gon Jinn. Zoom!
Yeah. That was one part. Yes, it's funny. It really is. And just it completely, it shows off that there is even a point where Martin Short's character isn't that clueless. It comes to a point where Steve's Martin character looks at him and it's like, yeah, there is that anger. Just outright, you ass in his eyes.
Yeah. And quickly to the chat. MB Geek, good to see you. Hey, Geek, how you doing, man? Hey, Geek, if you feel up to it and you want to join us and everything, if we're talking 3 Amigos, obviously, I can send you a link. If you're busy, that's fine too. I'm glad to see you, bud. I've missed you as well. So,
indeed.
So, but yeah, honestly, this. And then, of course, the singing sword. No, okay, the invisible swordsman, and they have to do the little chants.
Yep.
Farley, 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 fire. And then I forget what Chevy Chase says. It's almost like he's saying some sort of gibberish from National Lampoons.
Yeah.
And then he goes.
And of course, the whole part of it is that you have to go and point it straight up in the air.
Up in the air. Straight up in the air.
Again, someone who is so clueless and can only function on one thing at one time. And even then, that's a stretch.
These guys are that... Okay, sometimes these guys are so dumb it makes your brain hurt. But other times...
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. The stupidity is so fantastic. And again, you have to appreciate that this is just a really, really dumb movie to understand how brilliant of a movie this is.
Yes. It's so brilliant in its splendor, and it's so idiotic in its capacity that it boggles the mind.
Yeah.
It does. It boggles the mind.
Without question. This movie is just so dumb. I love it. I think I may have seen this movie about 30 times in the last 3 years. Is he here? Is he possibly here? Maybe.
I'm seeing him. I'm getting ready to send him the link.
Okay. So yeah, so the singing swordsman, or sorry, the invisible swordsman is gone, and in that, the singing bush is dead.
No, the singing swordsman is dead.
No, it's singing bush. The invisible
singing
swordsman.
Bush.
Singing bush. He ends up
invisible
shooting.
Swordsman singing.
Isn't it like 2 killed with the same bullet?
No, because they just left the singing bush. It would not tell them anything, so...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, go to the invisible swordsman. Yeah.
Yeah, they decided to go to the invisible swordsman and do the thing, and then Dusty's like, oh, well, I'm just going to shoot my gun over here to the side. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, you're supposed to shoot your gun in the air because he's invisible, you idiot. To quote another dumb, great movie, oh, brother, where art thou? You are as dumb, you two are as dumb as a sack of hammers.
Yeah. To quote King of the Hill, just when I think you couldn't possibly say anything dumber, you keep talking.
Yes.
I know I didn't not an exact quote, but it's close enough. Yeah, it just hurt, And then they have to go back to. Oh, no, they get kidnapped by Guapo's men.
Well, they get captured because they actually infiltrate the base or his fortress. And now, Geek, you better behave yourself, or I'll boot you.
Okay, I haven't already been booted once today, so.
I'm kidding.
Nah,
who would
good
boot
to see you guys again.
Good to see you too, bud.
Don't worry about that. That is so unrelated and it's so non-sequential to me. I don't care.
Consequential.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm terrible with my words sometimes. But no, it's great to see you guys. This is this is such a fun movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it had some of the best of the 80s comedy.
Hey, Mountains of Elysium.
Hey, Mountain, how you doing?
Hey, Mo.
Okay, so
all work and no play make mo.
For everyone who has not been here before, the ambassador's first name is actually Alfonso.
No, it isn't. That's a lie.
No, he's saying that, but yeah, Alfonso.
No,
everybody.
It's really no, Mir. Didn't you know his real name is Augustus?
What?
I don't know. You look like an Augustus to me. I mean, I know your real name, but that's besides the point. You look like an Augustus to me.
Actually, technically, so do I. But Alfonso just rolls off the tongue better.
I am not.
I think Augustus.
Okay, I'm not German and I'm not Italian, so no.
Hey,
I'm Canadian.
So I don't mean.
But Canadians come from somewhere.
So I don't mean to. I don't know if do you guys know what's going on in my life right now? A little 411. Just kind of give you a quick update. I don't know if you guys know.
I think you're getting ready to do a move or something. That's the last I heard from you. So.
Yeah. My daughter's preggo.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting on one piece of paper and then that's what I was doing most of the day was doing paperwork. And I'm like, man, I just need you to sign this. I called the realtor and I'm like, here's the paper. Just get the seller to sign it, everything so I can get it put in. And then I'm going to move to Indiana.
Cool.
2 of you in one state? Oh, shit.
Well, I'm going to be on the border. I'm going to be on the border of Indiana, not not what the ambassador is.
All right, hold up, Grandpa. Let me ask you a question real quick. So, I mean, is this like an expected fertilization?
No.
You had to make it weird.
Oh.
No. It's okay.
I'm in a medical program, man. It's just not... Well, congratulations anyway.
Nah, my daughter, it wasn't planned, but that's okay. We it wasn't just, her, getting pregnant, everything. We had family down from her side of the family. who live in Indiana come down to us. And, it kind of, I guess, struck a chord this time with my wife. Because every time I went to Indiana, I always kind of felt like I want to come back home. I want to come back to the Midwest. And I guess this time it really kind of hit her a little bit, maybe with, a grandchild coming and everything. So we made a decision. We decided we're going to move. We're looking at a very nice house and a very nice prayer. I mean, literally, this thing could almost be my dream home. I mean, it's about as close to a dream home as I'm going to get.
If I were to make a guess, I would say that land prices are a bit cheaper out that way.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you guys. No, I have no problem saying. So picture this: 2,400 square feet, 1-story house, 5-bedroom, 2-bath, on 1.5 acres of land, with a barn.
Nice. So you could, and just real quick to the chat, Neon Sci-Fi. So you could almost say, to kind of steer this back into the movie, you're getting your own version of El Guapo's compound.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because let's be candid. Who would not want to live in El Guapo's fortress? That is a sweet, sweet place. It's even got a dungeon.
Yeah.
With one of the best riggings to keep a person prisoner. Gonna make it. I made it. Ah! Man, we've kind of jumped all over the place with this movie. Because we jumped to Santapolco. We completely missed the opening where Carmen and the little boy goes to the town and everything. Watch the silent film, and oh my gosh, the silent film is so the music. Dun, 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 dun. And of course, the guy is actually turning the old school movie projector because that's the only way it ran. They didn't have motors in them yet.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, you figure they were like back in the area. I'm sure you're talking Mexico here. It wasn't exactly the bastion of advanced technology. So when you're talking like going stateside, especially on the eastern part of the country, you would see the electric motors for these, for all of these projectors. But in Mexico, they're gladly taking all of the old stuff. They're reselling it out in these countries, in these countries, and still making quite a bit of a profit on them because they're not the latest technology.
Right. But hey, it works. But getting to El Guapo's fortress, and they sneak in and they all get captured except for Dusty. And he knocks one of the guards out, and he can barely do it, and Carmen ends up having to be the one that knocks the guard out because he's such a wimp. You take the gun, you bash him over the head with it. I mean, for heaven's sakes, Ruby Rod had more guts in Fifth Element than Dusty does in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
He shoots a guy by accident. Dusty can't even knock a guy out.
Yes.
And when Carmen does it, you're like, damn.
Hey, you know what? I love a strong woman.
I married a strong woman.
Me too.
I married a strong woman.
Me too. Well, I guess.
Well, they have to be. They have to be to deal with us.
Yes, I tell her that daily. Like, dear, again, this is one of the great stories. For our 10th wedding anniversary, we got together. I looked deeply into her eyes, lovingly, and I said, "Dear, I have no idea how you signed the paperwork."
I can definitely relate to that, Mir.
Then what did she say? She says, "Yeah, I think about that every day too." Like, thanks, honey.
Well, the crazy thing is, Steve Martin's character, you do not picture him as a ladies man. Like, not really. Dusty's more the ladies man. Ah! Don't do that! Ah! Stop it!
7
I'll remove you from the stream. The animated version of you is bad enough.
Hey, Yitza did it, and I thought it was fantastic.
It is. I'm teasing.
I know.
I'm not going to tease. What in the ass did you do?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Okay, so the movie.
Mayor, be nice.
I'm being nice.
I know you are. I know you are, but what am I? I don't know what I don't know. I know what you are, but what am I?
Oh,
you're an idiot.
Figure that out yet? No, I'm not. You are. Okay, we don't need to get to Pee-wee's adventure.
Pee-wee Adventure. Believe it or not, I have never actually sat down and watched that movie from start to finish.
It's funny because you quoted it quite well.
Yeah.
Lucky guess.
So at this point, they've knocked out the bandito. Or sorry, Carmen has knocked out the bandito.
Yeah, because she has more guts than Dusty does.
Dusty is useless. Yes.
You are not wrong. He's not completely useless. He's just marginally useless.
He's a warm body.
That's what she said.
Not gonna argue with
That's
you there,
coming from
man.
a guy studying to be a pastor.
You just had to make it hurt, didn't you?
Yes, did it? Good.
No, not really.
No, I think it's extra funny from a guy who's studying to be a pastor.
Geek. Yes, I'm saying to be a pastor. That doesn't render me non-human.
I never said it did. I'm just making a funny stereotype.
It's just like a Jedi, okay? There's always going to be some dark side in there somewhere.
Yeah, that wants to force choke a bitch.
I think that is the first time I've ever heard you cuss.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's a felony. So let's talk a little deeper into that. So, when did you start having feelings of force choking a bitch? How does it make you feel?
Okay, let's go back to the movie,
guys. Okay, if there is only one person in the history of ever that I would actually, if I had the ability to force choke them without actually killing them, just knock their ass out. There's only one person I would do it to.
Yeah, good. Don't say the name. Just don't, buddy. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
What, Johnson?
Okay.
No, what did you think I was going to say, geek?
I don't care what you were going to say. I just don't want you getting your string struck for making a threatening comment.
It was a joke. I've prefaced it as such. It's a joke.
Okay. So look, I'm saying for the record, this is not any mean of a threat towards anyone in any way whatsoever. That being said, dead people don't talk, man. Take it as you will.
Oh, good grief. All right, back to the movie. So we have the big gunfight between the one German and Nettie, and Hefe's like, you don't want a puny gun like this. You want a man's gun. You want a man's gun. A gun's a gun. You pull the trigger, you shoot, and hopefully when you're done, the other person's no longer breathing. Or at least in capacity where you can run away. Run away, flee, run away.
Oh, God.
Ah! I told you, stop doing that. You're going to scare everybody away. Oh, good grief. What have I done? Oh, my God. What have I done?
I'm not scared. No.
I'm not either.
But I'm definitely not comfortable.
Yeah, well, we don't care.
Oh, God, I'm not white anymore. I'm red.
Hey, Mir. Hey, Mir, This is you remember that stream I did back last year, and we had Sean and we were talking about G.I. Joe and Transformers, and
oh yeah.
we were all dying, absolutely positively dying. He's like, "Hi, I'm Enosh Fit, and for the price of one Optimus Prime, you can unite him with all his fellow Transformers." And I think it's you or it was Brian that started singing "In the Arms of the Angel."
Yes, that was me.
In the arms of the angel.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently I've missed out on a few good streams here.
Well,
I mean, there's no wrong moment to do a Sarah McLachlan charity thing.
Okay, all right. Let's get back to the movie.
I'm going to mute myself for like a minute.
Why?
Because I have to get up and get something real quick.
Good grief. Great, you're going to leave me here alone with Geek.
No, I've got a wireless headset, but I got to walk around somewhere and I might cut out.
Sorry, man. I don't care. So, we've got our heroes in the fortress. They've all kind of escaped from their well, Dusty has escaped from, not Dusty, Lucky has escaped from the dungeon. He got all the shackles undone off of him. He's like, gonna make it. Not gonna make it. And they finally makes it, releases the weights, gets the key, and gets out of the prison. And then he's hanging from a bunch of piñatas, and we don't know why. And you have the big... Yes, it is. And you have the gunfight between Nettie and the German. I don't remember the name of the guy. I don't remember the name of the character. He's just the German.
I love this guy, but I heard about movie tricks. I was crushed. No man is... I am that fast. That's fun.
I am that fast.
And he's like, I am that fast. And, he proves he's that fast.
And of course, you have, and then of course, he shoots the gun, nails the guy, and then the kickback sends him flying against the door.
Yeah, but he still hit him.
He did.
Now let's not forget about what happened beforehand, where he goes and takes the gun into his hand, and the gun falls straight to the floor.
No, it pulls him straight to the ground.
Yeah.
Because the gun weighs more than he does.
They do.
This is a gun like this. You want a man's gun.
Pulp. It's like hands the gun. Ah! Oh, God.
And yes, those guns are heavy.
Well, yeah. They're made out of iron. And
what were they,
death.
At least like 5-6 pounds back then?
At least.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
And for those of you, and for anybody who doesn't know, you think 5-6 pounds is not much. Try holding it in the air. It'll wear your arms out real quick.
That's why you had to be you wanted to be the quicker draw, because that way you wouldn't tire out.
And usually the person with the quickest draw was a person with the lightest gun.
Not necessarily.
But in order to have the lighter gun, it could only fire a smaller cartridge, which, it was the trade-off, which might not be effective.
Well, that's why you got more than one shot off. And of course, there was John Wayne. I mean, let's just say it. John Wayne was the quickest draw of them all, except for Nate. Except for Nate.
I gotta tell you guys. When my dad was staying here, I actually saw a John Wayne movie I had never seen, and I didn't realize Jimmy Stewart was in it.
Let me guess. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance?
That's exactly the movie I'm talking about. And you know what?
Where have you been?
Was awesome.
What? You had never seen?
Not until a few months ago, buddy. You know me, I don't BS you. I'm dead serious. I had never seen that movie.
No,
somebody had mentioned it.
Neon Sci-Fi says, "Do you think the three amigos influenced the Macarena dance, or is it the other way around?"
Nope. I think it's exactly as you said, Neon. I think they did influence the Macarena.
Personally, I think that the way the three amigos did it was more elegant.
Yes, I would agree, but I'm going to agree with you two. Yeah, it was the three amigos that would have inspired the Macarena.
Oh, without question.
Yeah, because the three amigos, which came first, the amigos or the Macarena? The amigos.
The amigos came
first. The Macarena came out in the 90s.
And yes, I'm sure that somebody in there was watching the three amigos one night and saying, "Oh, we can make this more elegant."
And they somehow did.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy after all the times you've heard me talk about the classic movies, but every now and again there was one I missed, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance was one I missed. And I asked my dad, literally somebody was talking about it. I don't know why we were talking, and we were talking John Wayne or something, and somebody brought it up, and my dad was here, and I came into my red room and I said, "Hey, Dad, do you want to watch this movie called The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance?" And my dad was like, "That's one of my favorite freaking movies." I'm like, "Cool, Dad, I've never seen it." So I'm like, shut up through the movie so I can watch it. But man, I loved it. It was fantastic.
I still cannot believe until recently you've
absolute classic.
Yes. It really, really is. I cannot believe until recently you've never seen. I've watched that movie I don't know how many times. I love it. All right, Pilgrim. Now you die.
Cold-blooded murderer. Cold-blooded murder. But I can live with it. Oh, now I remember why. If you guys, I think you guys know this, my favorite episode of Star Trek is In the Pale Moonlight. And I was doing
remember research. We did a screen.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing research on that. I think I said, I guess the quote was similar to The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and I clicked on the hyperlink and I was like, I've never seen this John Wayne movie. I'm like, okay, how is that possible? Because I was like, I thought I'd seen pretty much all of John Wayne, even the black and whites. So that's why when I finally got to, I was looking, here, and I was like, I think it was on Amazon, and I was just like, "Hey, Dad, you want to watch this?" And of course, he's like, "I love that movie." I was like, "Cool, I've never seen it, so shut up and don't spoil it for me." Watched the movie and absolutely loved it. Loved it.
Lately, like for me, I've been watching a lot of classic horror movies. Mm-hmm. And specifically, I'm on this trend where I want to see either Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, or Christopher Lee. At least two of them have to be in the movie.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ambassador. I hijacked you.
No, you didn't. Not really. Well, I kind of shared this on Twitter and everything back a few days ago. But speaking of Peter Cushing, I actually got the original trilogy on 4K.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
How's it look?
Dude. Oh, my God.
It makes a really big difference.
Me and the missus were seeing and everything, and I started it, and the picture came up, and I'm like,
that good, huh?
Yeah. It makes such
I was speechless for a solid 5 minutes, if not more. I was speechless because it was, and then we watched Empire. The only one I haven't watched on 4K and everything is Jedi. And I'm gonna be like, no. And the special features are actually really good and everything, and it's stuff that they have pulled from the vaults and stuff they've done interviews with people and whatever, and they've got the deleted scenes on there, especially from New Hope and from Empire. And yes, there were deleted scenes or extended scenes even from the original trilogy. But getting back to to three amigos here.
Oh yeah, well, were we supposed to be talking about that somewhere?
Yes, we were supposed to be talking about.
I'm sorry, I hijacked this when I.
You didn't hijack me.
You didn't.
Hijack the stream.
I've been just as bad.
Okay, you want to talk about a hijacked stream? Tuesday night, I was over on Zod Rider's channel, and he had his open. Every Tuesday night, he does an open panel, everything, or open discussion. He'll provide you the link and everything. It's kind of like Dawson from Nerdy in Many Ways and everything. He does the same thing on Monday nights. And we were, I was on the panel with Zod and some other people, really cool people. Y'all would like them a lot and everything. I can't remember who all's in there. But this guy came on and he posed these 4 questions to us, and they had absolutely nothing to do with entertainment news or pop culture. One was about Michael Jordan fans are the worst NBA fans or some dumb thing like that. The other one was about, it was some sort of political thing, which I won't discuss here because, well, I don't do politics on my channel like ever. Yeah.
No, we don't do politics and we don't do sports. I mean, literally.
Yeah. The other one was about the efficacy of getting our food and our meat from these meat factories and everything that potentially torture the animals. And then the last one was something really nonsensical and was actually really dumb. Is there some sort of biological imperative or social imperative? Yeah, Neon, I think you were in the chat on that one. That says that once a guy graduates from high school, he can no longer look at high school age girls, and the guy just completely hijacked it. So, Geek Mirror, you all
sounds like you had a troll.
He was a fairly polite troll, but yes, essentially, Zod ended up booting him after a few minutes because one of the other panelists and everything, really cool young lady and everything, she tried to answer him, and the guy was just completely gaslighting her and cutting her off and just would not let her speak. And then Zod finally got to the point where he's like, nope. And then the guy put a comment in the chat and everything. This is what happens when I go on the channel and I present my topics and the people don't want to be proven wrong and they boot me. And I'm like,
so before we get back to the actual part to this, before we get back there, I just want to say I've been going off on tangents all this whole thing. Geek, you've been going off on tangents. We talk about getting back into the thing, and the first thing the ambassador does is go off on a tangent.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
moving on.
I'll tell you this. I was
to prove a point, y'all. We're not going off on a tangent because we got back on track. So quit it.
One of the things that I get where you're going there. I actually had. It turned out I was on somebody's morning chat. And apparently there had been something going on somebody else's chat prior to that, or their stream. And sorry, not chat, stream. Let me rephrase that. I show up in the stream. I've got a wrench and I'm seeing stuff pop up and I'm hearing what's going on. And I've been around long enough on these streams where I'm like, I kind of put in the private chat, I'm like, I already know who you all are talking about. And I kind of said, it's this person. They go, yeah. Well, that person showed up and started wanting to rehash things. And I'm like, okay, no, mute. You know, I was trying to be like, you know, polite. And then we had another person like, oh, you're censoring people. They're like, they were asking, why are you censoring? I'm like, I'm not censoring anyone. They're on this private area. They are trying to rehash an issue that everybody over there left. So they left the situation. This person came over and caused a whole fight. And we were like, if you want to, leave. It's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
But then they kept running their mouth and then they finally both got blocked. Because it's like, okay, you didn't really want to leave. You just wanted attention. I'm like, no, this is bull crap.
Yeah, I hear you. So, all right, back to the movie. So, we're coming up on the end here. So, they escape from El Guapo's compound, and he's like, "We're going to burn Santa Poco to the ground." Like,
don't
I
forget,
am
they do
done.
it by flying. They took the plane.
They took the plane. And of course, little Nettie and everything is able to fly the plane. It's a Buckman or Puckman or something, man. And they get back and they're like, "How are we? Do we have enough guns? No. What?" And he's like, "In all our movies, the village always had one talent that set them apart." And they're like, "We can sew." And they're like, "You can sew.
so.
You can sew." That's got to be the most useless skill in a combat situation ever. And yet, so Emma, so like the wind. And they figure out a plan based on an old movie that they did, Amigos, Amigos, Amigos.
Yes.
And essentially everyone is turned into an amigo or dress up as an amigo, and they start whittling down to Guapo's posse. Yeah, that's a good word. Posse is a good word. There's another word that rhymes with it, but it's a good word too, but I won't say it here. But anyway, and they finally whittle it down, and he's like, "Are amigos falling from?" Oh wait, no, that's back when they're his fortress. Are amigos falling from the sky? And then one of them actually falls from the sky. But they finally whittle it down to Jefe, and the rest of the guys start running off, and he's like, "Where are you?" Whatever El Guapo calls the rest of his group, "Where are you guys going?" And Jefe's like, "I am still here, El Guapo," and then he gets shot.
Yep. Timing is everything.
He gets shot, and he shoots a shot up in the air, and then he falls down flat on his face and dead.
And Lucky gets hit in the foot.
Yep.
You shot me in the foot. Who shoots someone in the foot? Oh, good.
Steve Martin is comedy gold.
Steve Martin is
comedy gold.
Yes, it is. Another great Steve Martin movie or parachute Steve Martin movies I love is Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride Part 2. I love those movies.
Yeah, those were really good.
All those hysterical. You've never seen the second one?
No, only
you need to. You need to.
I loved him in Cheaper by the Dozen. I thought that was fantastic.
Oh, him and
Bond.
The
first movie was funny.
I never saw the second one. First one with Tom Welling and Bonnie Hunt. I think, Bonnie Hunt. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Bonnie Hunt.
But
my apologies.
Don't die. Please don't die.
I was taking a drink. No, I was taking a drink of water. That's why I said my apologies.
That's okay. But yeah, Father of the Bride 2, you need to watch. It is legit. I think it's almost as funny, if not as more so than Father of the Bride, the first one.
Yeah, both of them are great.
Oh, man. And there is a guy who has aged gracefully, Steve Martin.
Well, I mean, he's had white hair since he was, 20-something?
Since his Saturday Night Live days, I think.
At least,
yeah, I mean, his hair went white way early.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so that's allowed him to age gracefully. And the guy looks the same for 40 years.
Yeah, totally. Of course, Chevy Chase has aged pretty gracefully, and so is Martin Short.
I think Martin Short's aged much more gracefully than Chevy Chase has.
I would agree.
But then, of course, El Guapo's dead. There's much rejoicing. Yay! And there was indeed much rejoicing. Yay!
Yay!
And Dusty's like, "I'll come back someday," and she's like, "Why? I want nothing to do with you. You're a loser."
Oh. And then here's your money. Oh, I'll take that. Oh my God.
And then our reward is as justice was done. And then they jump on their horses and ride off into the sunset.
Yep.
And I'm amazed that there wasn't a mid-credit scene or a post-credit scene where they come right back.
There totally should have been.
Which way's to the next town?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah. Like, guys, do you know where we're going? No, let's go back to Santapulco, see if they can give us directions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We did it!
All right.
Yay! And there was
Only
much
took 90 minutes.
Okay. And can we talk about the totally ridiculous yet totally quotable insults? You scum-sucking piece of slime. You
son of a motherless goat.
You son of a motherless goat. They call us a son of a motherless goat. Us. Tell us we will die like dogs. You will die like dogs.
No,
we will fight like lions.
Hey, real bullets. Wait a minute. That was a real bullets. You're in trouble, mister.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's all real. It's all real.
We're gonna guys. They're funny guys.
They're funny guys.
Just kill one of them.
Oh man. And then, of course, all right, the telegraph scene, because we didn't really talk about the telegraph scene. We kind of just skipped over the telegraph when Carmen's at the telegraph office and the telegrapher is like, he's like, infamous. It says all that you want to say, save you money.
Yeah.
And she's like, thank you. And he's like, no, or whatever wherever that means. Like, don't mention it or whatever the case is. But yeah, and yes, okay. Can we comment on the Amigos costumes? Can you say
mariachi?
No, okay. Lighten the loafers, mariachi.
Yeah.
Sorry. If you get my meaning.
Oh, hey, look at the sissies! That's exactly what that was.
Another little wink.
We need to offer them money. What we don't have enough. Oh, they won't take it. Because I remember the whole point was to get them to come down there, but they wouldn't take the money.
Yes.
Very much. Oh, I'll take that. This is great.
Yeah. And it's like they're looking at him like, really, man? Come on. We got a reputation to uphold.
Yeah, as actors. Hey, who knows? Maybe. Okay. All right. Crazy, wacky, way out there theory. The three amigos turn into like really sharp professional mercenaries for hire.
Yeah.
It can happen.
It would be funny as hell.
Think about it. Just think about it. They get rid of the flashy. Okay, everything except for the hat they get rid of, and they wear like normal like Western attire, but they keep the hats.
Clint Eastwood, good, bad, and the ugly.
Something like that. Nice. Yeah, something like that. And they get actual guns. They get good guns and everything. They get rid of their little sissy Mary guns and everything. They become like, okay, think like, okay, mere question. Have you watched season 2? Have you watched season 2 of Mandalorian yet? Beyond the season finale?
No.
Oh, you're missing out, buddy.
I've been busy.
Yeah. What? Taking another damn test?
No. I've been actually out of school for the last just over a month now, and I've been having a good old time sleeping, competitive sleeping, because I'm good at it. Doing some gaming.
Your geek card is rescinded until you watch season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Okay, so my biggest problem right now is that I'm under I'm under a bit of a mandate from the wife that says, because of the whole Mulan situation, I'm not allowed to give another dollar to Disney. So
really?
that is no Disney Plus.
What?
Because of one movie.
Live action Mulan.
Well, okay, one movie, and you're not allowed to.
Afterwards. I mean, the reason why is not important at the moment. The fact of the matter is, I'm not allowed to do it. I did just get HBO Max though.
Okay. All right. I rescind my previous thing. Your geek card is not rescinded because it's beyond.
Like you would relate.
It's circumstances beyond your control.
Exactly. It's
so
all
I'm not
money, and I am given it on occasion, but I don't make these kind of decisions.
Okay, fair enough. Wow,
so, that must have been some serious anger from your wife.
Here's the thing: is that I can't be trusted. What was it from Spaceballs? Like, I can't make decisions. I'm the president.
Yep.
Well, eventually, when they release it on disc or whatever, you need to watch the show. I'm serious.
Yep. But again, it's that whole situation. I can't give. Yeah. I'm not allowed to give money to Disney.
You're not. You're buying the disc. You're buying the DVD. You're buying the Blu-rays or the DVDs.
I am, but there's a percentage of stuff that goes back to them, and I'm not allowed.
There's always eBay.
Again, let's just not get on that particular.
No, let's not. Okay. Yeah. All right. Leave it alone.
I told you I can't make decisions. Okay. Like I'm the president.
Okay. All right. Geek, you'll get this then because Mir won't. The three amigos essentially turn into Boba Fett from season 2 of The Mandalorian. They turn into complete and total badasses. And they're smashing people and shooting them in the gut and just making money hand over fist. And we're like, guys, coming down here was the smartest thing we ever did. Getting fired from that crappy studio is the best thing you ever did. And now, you know what we're going to do now with all the money we have? We're going to go back and we're going to buy that studio and we're going to fire Flugelman.
Yeah.
Three Amigos 2.
Oh, so Revenge. Do you want to hear something really messed up?
Revenge of the Amigos.
This is one of these little tidbits of information we're not privy to.
Amigos Strike Back.
So originally, Steven Spielberg was slated to direct this movie, and it was originally going to be Steve Martin, Bill Murray, and Robin Williams.
Oh my God.
Tell me that would not be freaking awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That would have been like
that would have been the most epic thing ever.
It would have been a trip down pure insanity.
Oh my God.
And we would all have gone on the boat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would have been my brain cannot okay, brain, comprehend this. Three comedic geniuses in their prime.
Okay, I just want you all to realize right now that the ambassador is like in mid-nerdgasm.
Yes, he is.
No, I'm in full-born nerd geekgasm.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the part.
Yeah, you know it's funny, Ambassador, you mentioned Mandalorian. I've got to be honest, in retrospect, I've never seen a series with so many backdoor pilots and still made it fit almost perfectly well.
That's because you have people who know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, I know.
I deserve that. Thank you.
Yes. This is one time you do. You deserve that.
Hey, I got an interesting tidbit for you. My son is actually this is so awesome. My son decided he wanted to get on the YouTube chats. So when I would be up in the morning and I'm on somebody's chat, they're like, yeah, sure, your son can come up. And my son comes up and, a lot of times things default to Star Trek. And my son was hearing all this Star Trek stuff we were talking about, and as I told you guys before, he had never seen Star Trek. He had watched, or he's watching Star Trek: The Next Generation right now.
Good.
He's almost done with the first season, and I was walking by his room, and I was like, I could hear, Star Trek: Next Generation's, opening, and I'm like, I go to my wife and I said, our son's watching TNG. And she's like, yeah, he's heard you guys talk so much about Star Trek on the streams. He wants to know what the hell you guys are talking about. So he's watching it so he can understand what we love about it. And I'm like, oh my God, you would have thought I could have cried like a crocodile tears.
Great. That's the second nerdgasm today.
Well, technically, a geek, you wouldn't want crocodile tears because crocodile tears are insincere. So you want legitimate tears.
Yeah. But it was so cool. It's so cool to hear him in there. And I'm just waiting for him to start coming in and ask me questions. Because like, oh my God, finally, questions I can answer.
Well, I'm still, I'm not in that particular fight and everything. I mean, I feel for you, Trekkies and everything with what's been going on. And honestly, it's been 2 years or going on 2 years since Tross and TLJ, and I'm over it. I am. I'm over it. But to kind of close the book on it, sometime this month, before the month's out, I'm going to do my roast, my MST3K riff and roast of TLJ, and I might do it in a couple of months or anything after that. I'm going to do my riff and roast of Rise of Skywalker, and that's gonna close the book. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do my script, my dialogue to replace the crappy, sucky dialogue of Rise of The Last Jedi.
I've seen The Last Jedi 3 times. I saw Rise of Skywalker once. That was in theater. I have the Blu-ray. I'm not watching that piece of garbage again. It's worse than The Last Jedi because it's trying to be, it's a pandering thing, and it fails miserably because there's nothing they could do to repair the damage.
Geek, I got a question for you. Serious question.
Shoot.
Would you say that you have a plethora of garbage?
Yes, I would say I have a plethora.
Okay.
How'd you do it?
I will. Okay. Here, I don't want to get off on a big Star Wars thing because I'm working on. I really, because honestly,
Ambassador, I 100% agree with you. I see all these things after what happened at the end of Mandalorian, and it's like, is this going to happen? I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's literally, and I kind of made this argument from the sequel trilogy. Literally takes place in the span of just barely a year. It's not, in the grand scheme of things, that big of a deal. There's so many things they can do around it, and it's just not worth it. I'm enjoying the story I'm getting right now, and I'm gonna, it's like people are like, well, this is gonna be, Luke in this. I said, you know what? I literally said, shut the F up. Let us enjoy the moment that we dreamed of. So yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I got something I had been dreaming of for a long time, and that's the end of it. I don't care. I enjoy the moment.
And and here's the thing, I'm looking at it in this frame of reference. We've got the 6 plus Rogue One, and if you want to throw in Solo, fine. You can throw in Solo, but that's up to you. Yes, Mayor, we know you have a fancy lightsaber. If you actually want to come on,
the button actually fell out. Really, the only thing I'm going to add to this is that you can't make everybody happy all the time.
Nope.
Can't. But, and here's the thing. You know what I'm looking at when I see these new shows, these new live action shows? This might be, I hope this is not trigger or offend anyone. I'm looking at it this way. This is new EU. It doesn't connect to anything particularly unless you want to make it connect. I'm looking at this as new expanded universe via Disney. All the new shows with The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Cassian Andor, Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, The Acolyte, and and all those other shows that they're going to be putting into production. It's new EU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm reconciling it, and I'm good with it.
It's the same boat. I'm sorry, Ambassador. Yeah, it's the same boat I am. When I was you and Mir now. I'm a huge EU fan. I have a lot of EU content. And when I heard Disney was gonna kibosh all that, yes, it kind of upset me. But then again, I was talking with other EU fans and they were very upset. I said, you need to understand something. I said, we're the minority. He goes, well, what do you mean? We buy. I said, no. I said, you need to understand. People are going to go. I said, more people will go see the movie than are going to go buy the books.
Yes.
We are the people who bought the books for more of the story. They're not going to go do that. They might buy a book. They might buy a comic book, but they're not going to be invested in it like we were. We are the minority group. They're not worried about the fact that a book that sold 200,000 copies. They're more concerned about the fact that they're going to get an audience that's going to bring in a possible $1 billion plus worldwide.
Yes.
And I said, that is a perfectly reasonable business decision. Once I got over my emotions and thought about it from a business perspective, I said, I get where they went. I understand it. Now, I didn't like the sequels, obviously. Love Rogue One. I like Solo. That's me. I understand a lot of people don't. I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. Love The Mandalorian. Looking forward to more of the content that's going to come from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, because I really think, Favreau got a lot of goodwill for Rebels and Clone Wars.
He does. He's got street cred.
Yes. And Favreau for the MCU. I mean, yes, there are hits and misses, and there are some that we all don't like.
Hey, Polydro.
But
hey,
for
Jason,
all
good
intents
to see
and
you,
purposes, for all intents and purposes, he had a lot of goodwill too. And when we saw the product that came out of The Mandalorian, we're all like, okay, this has potential. This can work. And we're like, wait a minute, why is it only 35 minutes for a pilot? What the hell? Wait, I gotta wait a week? They really you know what it is somebody said, they called it was a minimalist show. And I had to think about that for a little bit. I was like, yeah, they brought the characters in because they had a purpose, not to just have them there for no reason.
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, looking at the position where Disney was last year compared to where Disney is right now, they have to make some very, very hard financial decisions. And part of that financial decision is we need to give the overwhelming amount of the Star Wars fandom what they want.
Yes.
You know, so it's regardless of politics, regardless of whatever, the true Star Wars fans are craving what they want. And they need to give it to them, or they're going to go under.
And you know what? And I've sat and talked to people, and I've heard them talk about them having their experiences at Galaxy's Edge, and a lot of them have said that they enjoyed it. I mean, Enosh is one of those people, and I've heard other people talk about it outside of the fandom nuisance. Sorry,
I went. It was great.
Sorry, I know that
I didn't get a chance to go. Unfortunately, it was created after I left.
So. But I've heard people say Galaxy's Edge is a lot of fun, and if you want those other experiences out in the main park with Vader and the OT characters, you can have it there.
I also subscribe to a Disney board, and one of the latest things out there is they're getting rid of the characters from the new signal. They're going to bring back the original. They're going to redress Galaxy's Edge and bring back some of the original characters as a new Galaxy's Edge, essentially, because they want to. I've even heard
that I've even heard that they're possibly going to be bringing in stuff from the Mandalorian. I'd be like, hey, I'd be down for that. That'd be
Absolutely.
cool.
I mean, that's only 5 years post Jedi. Absolutely bring them in.
Yes, absolutely bring that in. It's, this is where it's kind of come to a point where with Favreau and Filoni, they're not giving the check mark boxes. And the same thing with Cobra Kai. And I'm sure some of you guys have heard the fallout of the BS of Cobra Kai, where they're saying they're not woke enough, which is about as stupid as you can get. But they're focused on a good overall story. And this is why I think The Mandalorian did something that, well, there's several things, if you don't mind me saying, Ambassador. I know you're coming up on 2 hours. Well, let's put it this way. In The Mandalorian, you had that comedian. What was his name?
Bill Burr.
Yeah,
Bill Burr was in
there. Yes, Bill
Burr
was in. Yes, Bill Burr was in the first season, and then he's back in the second season. We know he was Mayfield. He was a sharptrooper. And in just a few minutes, we got more backstory on his character than we got all of Finn. Because just listening, when Mayfield is talking, Mayfield's talking to this cat, he's like, I don't know if he'd remember I was a shock trooper, and he's talking back and forth, and you can tell I'm literally watching Mayfield's facial structure, and I'm like, I'm like, dude, shut the hell up before you get shot. Because you can tell, I'm like, Mayfield's going to shoot this guy. Mayfield is like, this man led, people he cared about. And this is another interesting fact. He cared about those people because he mentioned them. And, this guy just acts like it's no big deal for the greater glory of the empire. And Mayfield, you can tell, is like, these were my brother. It was almost kind of clone trooper level bonding that we never got to see. And you could see Mayfield just losing his shit. And you could see the Mandalorian, Din, and he's like, he knows what's about to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the whole thing where, that happens. That was more impactful. That was the most impactful stormtrooper, for lack of whatever you want to call him, than Finn got in the entire trilogy. And that's a shame.
Yeah, then, I mean, not to cut you off, Jesse, but for heaven's sakes, in the fan fiction I'm working on, I'm midway through part 6 of 12, and I've given Finn more character development, more story arc, more time, and I'm writing him in a way that would mean something to someone else and myself as well. And I've done something that they teased at, but they didn't do. I made him a Force sensitive. I'm making him a Force wielder.
He should have been. It should have been him. It should have been him and Ray. Okay, if you were to go Palpatine, it should have been him. It should have been Finn, Ray, and Ben Solo. Those 3 should have been the 3 that you needed to beat Palpatine if you were going to bring him back.
Are you trying to make them the 3 Amigos of Star Wars?
That would be awesome.
I'm done with that too.
Awesome.
The 3 Jedi egos.
Finn is Force sensitive. He's Force sensitive. He should have been on the same planet. He should have gone to HU with Ray or a little bit afterwards. Yeah. And been training with Luke. That's how it should have been. Yeah. And then it should have been, he gets Kylo gets his redemption, whatever, and they all 3 have to go fight Palpatine. That is how you could have done it. But they blew his character so bad, and he was one of the best characters in the Force Awakens. And then they really screwed him over in The Last Jedi, and then they really turned him into nothing but Ray. It's like, oh my God, they character.
At the end of the day, though, and this is going to be my last comment for this. At the end of the day, it's looking at things financially. Some people like the new series, some people like the old series. I'm actually very, very happy right now that Disney and Lucasfilm and all of them are finally catering to both.
Yes,
I appreciate that more than I can possibly tell you.
Look, I'm not saying that they had to cater just to me as a hardcore longtime fan. You can cater to the fans, you can cater to the general audience or the normies if you prefer that terminology. Whatever, I don't care. But I think the one thing, because the general audience is going to listen to the fan base and say, "Hey, the fan base is saying this stinks." Maybe they have a position that should, at least you don't have to take it. You don't have to side with us, but take what we're saying and take it with a grain of salt or whatever, and decide for yourself. If you want to listen to the fans and say, maybe I want to skip this, fine, then skip it. Or if you want to say, I'm going to listen to the fans, but I'm still going to go give this a try and decide for myself, that's fair too. You can make a decision for yourself. You don't have to listen to the fans. But I think in terms of when it comes to the studio, again, you don't have to pander to us. You don't have to spoon feed us. You don't have to put a bunch of fan service into it. Just give us a story that we can relate to, that holds to the lore, at least on certain levels, and makes a logical sense.
Yes.
And you will.
Ambassador, you bring up a good point. Back when Disney acquired and said they were shutting down the old EU and creating a new one, and there was the backlash from a lot of people like me, the EU fans.
Yeah,
we weren't asking. There was kind of a thing we kept asking. It's like, look, we're not asking you to not create new content in your own universe. All we're asking is, could you please still continue the universe those of us in the EU are familiar with? And it was like, no, people won't maybe understand the difference. I'm like, you're slapping the word legends on everything. I'm like, slap the word legends on it if you want. And we even went as far as saying, hey, you don't even have to put in a physical copy. Just produce it, give us an ebook, give us an e-novella.
Give the
we were
fans
just asking
what they
for a
want.
compromise.
Yeah.
And of course, that was the beginning of it. And, they were drunk on their own power. And it was like, no, screw you guys. You guys don't rate crap. Unfortunately, now it's kind of come back in biting them because they're realizing, they're looking at what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing. And they're like, oh, well, damn, we're giving the audience what they want, and they're finding a balance between the old guard and the new guard.
The thing is, I don't even think that's the case. I think they've created two very separate universes here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I think that they have, but again, now that they're actually catering to both, they're going to stand to make a real killing on the Disney Plus side. Again, it all comes back to money. You're giving the fans what they want, regardless of what camp you're in.
Well, and here's the thing. Yeah, and here's the thing for me. I made my position pretty well known about the Rise of Skywalker, and particularly its ending. And I've taken that and I've used it as motivation to write a story, to write an alternate version of the Rise of Skywalker. But it's honestly, it's morphed beyond just an alternate version of Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I'm building my own. I've built my own universe that still could theoretically fit within either the sequel trilogy or as a continuation from the prequel and original trilogies. Because I've given Snoke a backstory that links all the way back to the prequels. I kept Luke alive, and he's a teacher, as he should have been. I ignored TLJ entirely. Ignored everything that happened in it entirely. I've made Finn a Force sensitive. I've made Rey a compelling, interesting character, at least for me, and I think for other people who may not have found her as such. I have linked her. Okay, to give you all a short synopsis. In Arc 5, what I have done is I have linked her to Palpatine, but I've done it in a way that makes sense. what I did is I made her essentially a genetic experiment, because if you remember in Mandalorian and in other media, Palpatine had all sorts of different cloning projects and genetics projects and everything going on. And essentially he gave them some of his genetic material. They impregnated a female Imperial officer. She gave birth to Rey. And then she was left behind on Jakku. And she's lived there all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that to make her flawed, to make her fallible, to make her relatable. Because think about it. You grew up all this life not knowing who you were, where you came from, and then you find out that you're not only an experiment, but your whole existence is predicated on the fact that you are genetic material from one of the most villainous, evil people in the entire freaking galaxy. Imagine what that would do to you. And what I have been able to do with this story is, like I said, I've given Snoke a compelling and interesting backstory. If you want to go learn about it and everything, go listen to my fan fictions. But I will tell you all here and now, and this is something I've been mulling over. I am going to finish Rey Who, or I've actually come up with a better title, because I did research because I did not want to risk any type of copyright. I have come up with Rey Who as a working title. I have actually come up with a title for my fan fiction. And it actually came out of a line of dialogue from part 5, because I have included Grogu and I've included Ahsoka in my fan fiction. And the name of this is going to be Star Wars Children of the Force, a fan fiction. And instead of it being just me reading this, I have put together a character list, cast list, and I'm going to be sending out the word. And this is kind of a sneak peek for those of you that are in the chat, and those of you that'll catch us on the replay, however long you listen. And I'll probably do a separate video to announce this as well. I'm going to do this like a radio drama. I'm going to cast people for the roles and we're going to record it. I am going to contact a composer online. And I think some may be familiar with him. His name is Samuel Kim. He has a channel on YouTube, and I'm going to make this into something completely different. So,
I like it. That's all I'm saying. I like
what we got. I've always said, I started saying this. It wouldn't have been so bad if they had gone into this idea of this trilogy, not make it a sequel trilogy, because it really had nothing to do with Skywalker at all. At least in 1 through 3, that's about the fall of Anakin. And then you have 4 through 6 is the redemption of Anakin. I mean, yes, Luke is the main person in that, but Luke is the one who redeems him. And then you get to the sequel trilogy, and okay, you got this guy called Ben Solo for some reason. Why I don't know. That makes no sense to why you would call him Ben. I mean, I could understand why in the EU universe, when Mara Jade and Luke had a child, they named him Ben, because Obi-Wan was a big influence on him. But as far as Han didn't really care too much for him, and Leia, as far as we could tell, based on that, was she never met him. So why name him Ben, in what honor? That makes no sense. I would have thought, if his name had been Bail, that would have made some sense. If his name had been Bail Solo, that would have, okay, he's named after Bail Organa, the father. You know,
the adopted
that would
father.
have made sense.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That would have made sense.
So I
But
actually have a theory about what's going to happen with the new Star Wars series. As far as like the sequel trilogy, like 7 through 9, I have the feeling that this is going to transform from episodes 10 to 12. And I think there's going to be another Star Wars trilogy from 7 to 9 that's going to fill in this ginormous gap from what happened to Luke after episode 6, and can tell the story of how we got to Rey. How did we get to that point? I think that would turn out.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to at some point.
Because I mean, there's right now. Let's just say Return of the Jedi. It ends on a high point, and look at let's go back to Revenge of the Sith. It ends on a low point. Starts on a higher point, ends on a lower point. Then this one starts at a lower point, ends at a higher point. Now I think from the real 6 to 9 should start at that high point and go back to the low point, and then on from the 10 to 12 that starts at the low point of the First Order has taken over, blah 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 blah, whatever, and then ends on that high point. It makes a lot more. There's a lot more rhythm to the revolving theme. I feel like that's the direction they really should go to tell that backstory.
Yeah, I just think they shouldn't have. I just don't think with the sequel trilogy, they should have just made it a trilogy in itself and not gone with a Skywalker saga. I mean, you could have had Han, Leia, Lando, Luke, R2, 3PO. You could have had them in there.
I totally agree on that. And the best part about this whole thing is that with the traveling mat technology that they used to put Luke in the Mandalorian, hey, guess what? You can put them all in there. It doesn't matter anymore. You know, the actors don't even have to be alive. As long as you can find someone that sounds enough like that person, screw it. You know, they can make an entire trilogy. It's going to be one expensive ass trilogy. Don't get me wrong. But what they can do now in the coming years, absolutely, they can make a whole new story.
Pretty much.
Thank you, Rogue One.
Yes, thank you.
It's been going on for a long time. Shoot that! Thank the Running Man.
Yes, that too. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard Dawson.
AKA Stephen King.
Yeah. Well, no. Richard Dawson was the game show host for Family Feud.
And just real quick to the chat, Geeks enjoy Nerdrotica, LDG, good to see you, bud. Yeah, we're going to be actually wrapping up here in a few minutes. And
this
I'll
went off on an epic tangent.
Yeah, because we wrapped up with Three Amigos, and then we got into Star Wars.
Yeah, I kind of think you might want to like chop that part off at the very end and like try to make this into the old thing. We're just talking about sci-fi and Star Wars and so whatever.
Maybe,
I think it might make more sense. Keep up with the theme. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, well, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today and everything. And for those of you who catch us on the rewind, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I know it was kind of we ran all over the place with this movie, but with Three Amigos, they're running around everywhere anyhow. So, but I want to thank my good friend Samir and my long lost friend MB Geek. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Geek, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Alfonso, thank you so much for inviting me.
Hey guys, it was great to see you both again.
You too.
Good to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to hell.
Felt kind of like old times.
Yes. Well, anyways, folks, I lost I didn't lose my train of thought. Coming up tomorrow, for those of you that didn't catch my channel update, I will be going live early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and everything, because I'm going to have a very special guest on the ambassadorial wing. I've been promoting this and everything, and we've actually been able to work it out where we're going to do this interview as a live stream. I'm going to have Phil Hawkins, who is the director of the fan film Star Wars Origins and everything, and we're going to have a nice little chat tomorrow morning. So if you're up early, pour you some coffee and come join us and everything. As him and me, we talk about the fan film, we talk about his career, his thoughts on Star Wars, and whatever else might come up and everything. And then, of course, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 with the Council of Ones as we do our season 2 finale review, The Fall of Night on Babylon 5. And then tomorrow's gonna be a stream heavy day because tomorrow night I'll be over on Orange Hat Reviews channel. I'll be joining him for one of his versus streams and everything. We're gonna debate who would win between the greatest duelists amongst the ranks of the Sith and everything, Darth Malak and Count Dooku, aka Darth Tyrannus, and that'll be at 8 p.m. Central Time and everything as well. So, but anyways, folks, y'all have a great day. And again, thank you all for tuning in. And if you come across this stream and you enjoyed what we talked about and you have not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button and becoming a part of the ambassadorial wing, because this is what we do here. We talk about the stuff we love, we promote the stuff we love, and we try to create a place where unity rather than division is the order of the day. Because I think, especially nowadays, we can all use a little more unity. So,
Nerds of the world, unite.
Yes. So, all right, folks, y'all have a great one. And until next time, these are the ambassadors. These are the ambassadors signing off.
Bye, Alphon.
I have always been